Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Today we are looking at a coin most people ignore, but one version of it has surprised collectors again and again, the 1974 D Eisenhower $1. At first glance, it looks like a big, ordinary dollar coin. Heavy. Bold. Nothing special. But here's the twist, some of these coins have sold for far more than their face value, and a few rare examples have collectors hunting like crazy. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what makes the 1974 D Eisenhower Dollar interesting, the hidden details most people miss, and the specific features that can turn this common coin into something worth real money. Take a close look at the coin. On the front, you'll see President Dwight D. Eisenhower facing left. Strong profile. Clean design. Under his neck, you'll spot the mint mark, D for Denver. That tiny letter matters more than you think. Now flip it over. The back shows the eagle landing on the moon, inspired by the Apollo 11 mission. It's one of the coolest reverse designs in US coin history. You've got Earth in the background, the eagle in motion, and fine details that really pop under good lighting. If you're editing this video, this is the perfect moment for a slow zoom on the eagle and the moon surface. So why would a coin like this be worth more than $1? Here's where things get interesting. Most 1974 D Eisenhower dollars were made in large numbers. Millions. That means in average condition, they're common. But condition changes everything. If you find one in uncirculated condition, no scratches, no wear, strong luster, it can already be worth more than face value. Now take it a step further. Coins graded MS65 or higher, especially with clean surfaces and strong strikes, can jump in value quickly, but don't stop there, because this is where collectors really start paying attention. Some 1974 D coins show striking errors. Weak strikes. Off-center designs. Even die clashes where parts of the design overlap faintly. These errors are rare, and collectors love them because each one is unique. Imagine finding a coin where the details look slightly doubled or misaligned. Most people would ignore it. A collector? That's a potential treasure, and here's a detail many beginners miss, the quality of the strike. Some Eisenhower dollars from Denver weren't struck as sharply as others. So when you find one with crisp lettering, clear details in Eisenhower's hair, and a sharp eagle on the reverse, that coin instantly stands out. Now let's add a bit of history. The Eisenhower dollar was only produced from 1971 to 1978. It was the last large-sized dollar coin made for circulation in the United States. That alone gives it a special place in coin collecting. It represents the end of an era, and here's a small cliffhanger for you. Some collectors believe certain batches from Denver in 1974 have slightly better strikes than others. That means two coins from the same year and mint can have very different values depending on quality alone. So what is this coin actually worth? In circulated condition, a 1974 D Eisenhower dollar is usually worth around $1 to $3. Nothing crazy. In uncirculated condition, especially MS63 to MS65, it can range from about $10 to $50 depending on quality, but higher grade examples, MS66 or above, have sold for a few $100s at auction. And rare error coins can sometimes go even higher depending on how unique the mistake is. That's the difference. One coin. Same year. Same mint. But tiny details can turn $1 into something much more valuable. Now I want to ask you, have you ever checked your old coins for details like this? Do you own an Eisenhower dollar, maybe sitting in a drawer right now, and if you could add any rare coin to your collection, what would it be? Let's wrap this up. The 1974 D Eisenhower dollar might look ordinary, but in the right condition, with the right details, it becomes a collector's piece with real value. It's a perfect reminder that sometimes the most overlooked coins are the ones worth checking twice. Top 2. Today we are looking at a coin that millions of people have seen, but almost nobody realizes some versions of it can be seriously valuable. The 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower $1. It literally has two dates on it. That alone makes people stop and think. But here's the part most people miss. Hidden among these bicentennial coins are special versions, rare errors, and high-grade examples that collectors will pay real money for. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what makes this coin different, how to spot the valuable ones, and why some of these have sold for far more than you'd expect for a $1 coin. Take a good look at it. On the front, you'll see Dwight D. Eisenhower again, just like other Ike dollars. Strong portrait, bold lettering. But instead of a single year, you see 1776 to 1976. That's because this coin was made to celebrate 200 years of American independence. Now flip it over, because this is where it really stands out. Instead of the eagle landing on the moon, you get a completely different design. A Liberty Bell layered in front of the moon. It's symbolic. Freedom on Earth, achievement in space. If you're editing this is the perfect moment for a slow close-up of the Liberty Bell and the moon behind it. This design wasn't random. It was chosen through a national competition, which already makes this coin feel more special than regular issues. Now here's where things start getting interesting. These coins were made in huge numbers. Philadelphia, Denver, and even San Francisco produced them. So yes, most of them are still only worth face value. But not all of them. Some were struck in 40% silver. That's right, real silver content. Those were made in San Francisco and sold in special collector sets. If you've got one of those, it's already worth more just because of the silver. But wait, don't assume yours is silver just yet. You need to check the edge. A silver coin has a solid, clean edge without the copper stripe. If you see a brownish line, that's a clad version. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where the value really changes. Most of these coins you find are worn. Scratches, dull surfaces, weak details. But if you come across one that looks almost brand new, with strong shine and sharp details, you might be holding something much better. Collectors look for high-grade examples. Coins graded MS65, MS66, or higher. And here's the thing, the bicentennial Eisenhower dollars are actually hard to find in perfect condition. That's why top-quality pieces can sell for hundreds of dollars, and then there are the errors. This is where it gets exciting. Some coins show doubled lettering. Others have off-center strikes. There are even cases where the design looks slightly shifted or misaligned. These mistakes happen during production, and instead of being worthless, they can make the coin more desirable. Imagine checking your coin and noticing something looks just a little off. That small detail could be the difference between $1 and something collectors really want. Here's another detail most people skip. The strike quality on these coins varies a lot. Some have weak details, especially on the Liberty Bell. But if you find one where the bell lines are sharp and clear, that's a big plus. Now think about the history for a second. This coin wasn't just money. It was part of a nationwide celebration. Millions of Americans held on to these as souvenirs of 1976. That's why so many still exist today. But here's the twist, because so many were saved, only the very best examples stand out today. It's not about finding one. It's about finding a really good one. So what is it actually worth? A regular circulated 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar is usually worth around $1 to $3. Uncirculated clad versions can go for about $5 to $20 depending on quality. The 40% silver versions typically range from $10 to $30. Sometimes more if they're in excellent condition, but high-grade coins, especially MS66 or above, have sold for a few $100s at auction. And rare error coins can go even higher depending on how unique they are. That's a huge difference for a coin most people overlook. Now I want to hear from you. Do you own one of these bicentennial dollars? Have you ever checked if it's silver or looked closely for errors? And if you could find one rare coin in your pocket change, what would you hope it is? At the end of the day, the 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar is more than just a coin. It's a piece of history, a celebration, and for some collectors, a hidden opportunity. Top 3, today we are looking at the very last of a giant coin that quietly disappeared, the 1978 D. Eisenhower $1, and some of these are worth way more than people expect. Most people think this coin is just a big, heavy dollar with no real value. But here's the truth, the final year of any coin series always gets attention, and hidden in these 1978 D coins are high-grade pieces and rare errors that collectors are actively hunting. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly what to look for, how to tell if yours is special, and why some of these have sold for far more than $1. Take a close look at the front. You've got Dwight D. Eisenhower facing left. Strong jawline, bold lettering, and just below his neck, that small D mint mark for Denver. It's easy to miss, but that tiny letter tells you where it was made, and it matters. Now flip the coin. The reverse shows the eagle landing on the moon, wings spread, holding an olive branch. Earth is floating in the distance. It's a design tied directly to the Apollo 11 mission, and it gives this coin a unique connection to space history. This is a great moment for a slow rotation shot of the coin under light so the really pop. Now here's where things get interesting. 1978 was the final year the Eisenhower dollar was ever produced. After this, the US moved to smaller dollar coins. That means this coin marks the end of an era. And collectors love last year coins because they represent a closing chapter, but just being the last year isn't enough to make every coin valuable. Condition is everything. Most 1978 D coins you'll find are worn. Scratches, dull surfaces, weak shine. Those are common. But if you come across one that looks sharp, bright, and almost untouched, that's where things change. Look closely at Eisenhower's hair. Are the lines clear and detailed, or flat and worn? Check the eagle on the reverse. Are the feathers sharp? Is the earth crisp in the background? These small details can separate an ordinary coin from a collectible one. And here's something a lot of people don't realize: the Denver Mint didn't always produce the strongest strikes for Eisenhower dollars. So when you find a 1978 D with bold, crisp details, it stands out immediately. Collectors call this a strong strike, and they pay attention to it. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where things can get exciting. Some 1978 D coins show doubling in the lettering. Others have die cracks, thin raised lines caused by stress in the coin die. You might even find off-center strikes where the design isn't perfectly aligned. These are mistakes from the minting process, and instead of being worthless, they can actually increase value. Imagine spotting a small doubling in the word liberty or noticing something slightly off in the date. That's the kind of detail that can turn a normal coin into something collectors want. Here's a quick moment to pause and think. When was the last time you really looked closely at your coins? Because coins like this often sit in drawers, jars, or old collections, completely unnoticed. Now let's build a little suspense before the value. You've got the last year of a historic coin series. A design tied to space exploration. Variations in strike quality. And the possibility of mint errors. All of that adds up. So what is the 1978 D Eisenhower dollar actually worth? In circulated condition, most of these are worth around $1 to $3. If you find one in uncirculated condition, with good luster and minimal marks, it can range from about $10 to $30. Higher grade examples, MS65 and above, can sell for $50 to a few $100s depending on quality, and if you happen to find a high-grade coin with a noticeable error, the value can go even higher based on rarity and collector demand. That's a big jump for a coin many people ignore. Now I want to hear from you. Do you have a 1978 Eisenhower dollar somewhere at home? Have you ever checked it closely for details or errors? And if you could own any rare coin in the world, what would it be? At the end of the day, the 1978 D Eisenhower dollar isn't just another coin. It's the final piece of a series, a link to American history, and a reminder that even common-looking coins can hold hidden value. Top 4. Today we are looking at a coin that most people would spend without thinking twice, but one small detail on it can make collectors stop immediately. The 1972 D Eisenhower $1. At first glance, it feels like just another big, heavy dollar coin. Nothing flashy. Nothing rare. But here's the catch: certain versions of this coin, especially with the right condition or unusual features, can be worth far more than you'd expect. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly what to look for, the hidden details most people miss, and how to tell if your 1972 D Eisenhower dollar is just a dollar, or something much better. Take a close look at the front. You've got Dwight D. Eisenhower facing left. Bold portrait. Clean design. Right below his neck, you'll see the small D mint mark. That tells you this coin was made in Denver. Now flip it over. You'll see the eagle landing on the moon, holding an olive branch. Earth floating in the distance. It's not just a design, it's a tribute to the Apollo 11 mission. If you're editing this video, this is the perfect moment for a slow zoom on the eagle, then a light sweep across the earth in the background to bring out the. Now here's where things start to get interesting. The 1972 Eisenhower dollar was produced in large numbers. So yes, most of them are common. But not all coins are created equal. Condition is everything. That if your coin is worn, scratched, or dull, it's likely worth just a little over face value. But if you find one with strong shine, minimal marks, and sharp details, that's when collectors start paying attention. Look closely at Eisenhower's hair. Are the lines sharp or flattened? Check the lettering. Is it crisp and bold? Now turn it over again and study the eagle. Are the feathers detailed? Is the earth clearly defined? These small details can completely change the value of the coin, and here's something a lot of people don't realize. The Denver Mint sometimes produced weaker strikes on Eisenhower dollars. That means fully detailed, sharply struck 1972 D coins are actually harder to find. When collectors see one with strong detail, it stands out immediately. But now we get to the part that can really change everything. Errors. Some 1972 D coins show doubling in the letters or numbers. You might notice it in Liberty or in the date itself. Others have die cracks, thin raised lines that appear as the minting dies begin to wear out, and then there are off-center strikes, where the design isn't perfectly aligned. These aren't common, and collectors love them because each one is unique. Imagine going through your coins and spotting something slightly off. Maybe the date looks doubled. Maybe the design feels shifted. That small detail could turn an ordinary coin into something collectible. Here's a quick thought to keep you watching. What if you've already seen one of these and didn't realize it? Because that happens more often than you think. Now let's talk about value, because this is where it all comes together. A typical circulated 1972 D Eisenhower dollar is usually worth around $1 to $3. If you find one in uncirculated condition, with good luster and fewer marks, it can range from about $10 to $30. Higher grade examples, especially MS-65 or better, can reach $50 to a few $100s depending on quality, and coins with clear, noticeable errors can go even higher, depending on how rare and visible the mistake is. Same coin, same year. But small differences can create big changes in value. Now I want to hear from you. Do you have a 1972 D Eisenhower dollar in your collection? Have you ever checked it closely for details like doubling or strike quality? And if you could discover one rare coin in your pocket change, what would you hope to find? The 1972 D Eisenhower dollar might not look special at first, but once you know what to look for, it becomes a lot more interesting. It's a reminder that sometimes the most overlooked coins are the ones worth checking twice. If you enjoyed this and want to learn more about coins hiding real value, hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. And don't miss the next video, because the next coin we talk about might already be sitting in your home right now.